So let's talk about a puzzle. A puzzle's so clever, it's basically become the go-to IQ test for artificial intelligence. For years, this thing has absolutely stumped the most powerful AIs on the planet. But a recent competition just changed everything, sparking a massive breakthrough. So what is this puzzle? And why has it been such an impossible roadblock for the world's smartest machines? Let's get into it.
Okay, so what you're looking at here is a task from something called the Abstraction and Reasoning Corpus, or ARC for short. It's not about what an AI has memorized, it's a test of real, flexible intelligence. The goal is simple, at least for us. You look at the before and after examples, figure out the hidden rule, and then apply it to solve that final test puzzle. For you and me, it's a fun little game of pattern spotting. For an AI, it's like trying to understand an alien language after hearing just 2 or 3 words. It's a huge leap of logic.
And that right there is the central mystery. You can look at these grids of colorful squares, your brain just gets the pattern, and you solve it. But for years, these massive AI models like GPT-4, that have been trained on basically the entire internet, have just failed, miserably. Why? What is our brain doing that these supercomputers just can't?
That single question created a massive problem for the entire field. For years, progress on this super important benchmark, a key way to measure if we're actually getting closer to true artificial general intelligence, or AGI, it just completely stalled. The whole field kind of hit a brick wall.
I mean, just look at this. The first competition back in 2020 set the high score at around 20%. And then for the next 4 years, a lifetime in AI development, the score barely moved. It just slowly crawled up to about 34%. We were basically stuck in the mud.
And here's the crucial point. The AI models were getting bigger, they were memorizing more and more data, but their actual ability to reason, to adapt to a brand new problem they'd never seen before, that wasn't improving at all. It was a classic case of just getting fatter, not smarter.
By the beginning of 2024, the gap was frankly almost embarrassing. Humans, we can solve these with nearly 98% accuracy. The most advanced AIs in the world, Claude 3.5 was sitting at 14%. And GPT-4o was at a dismal 5%. The difference was just staggering. The whole field needed a serious wake-up call.
And that wake-up call came in the form of a competition. The ARC Prize was created specifically to break this stalemate, to force some fresh thinking, and to completely reboot the race towards real AGI.
This competition, which kicked off in June 2024, wasn't just about getting the highest score. No, it was about finding totally new ideas, and they had one key rule. All winning solutions had to be open source. This was brilliant, right? It wasn't just about crowning a winner, it was about forcing a breakthrough that everyone could see and learn from, making sure these new ideas didn't just get locked away inside some big tech company.
And to get the world's best minds interested, they put up some serious cash, a $600,000 grand prize for the very first team to cross that 85% threshold, a score that would pretty much prove an AI could finally reason on these tasks like a human.
And you know what? It actually worked. The prize didn't just nudge the score up a little bit, it completely unleashed 2 major breakthroughs that basically shattered the old way of thinking about how AI solves problems.
So 2 huge ideas came out of this. The first is called program synthesis. Instead of just guessing, the AI acts like a little computer programmer. It looks at the puzzle and literally writes a tiny custom program to solve it. But the second idea, test time training, is maybe even more wild. Imagine an expert who can instantly learn a brand new skill for one specific job. That's what the AI does. It takes the examples from a single puzzle and rapidly retrains a piece of its own brain to become a temporary specialist for that one puzzle.
This test time training, or TTT, is kind of a game changer. It's not about just pulling from its vast memory. The AI sees a totally new puzzle, uses the examples to perform a little fine-tuning on itself, and then uses that newly adapted mind to solve it. It is literally learning on the job, in the exact moment of the test.
The official report from the competition really hits the nail on the head. It says this stark gap shows that the classic approach, just building a giant static model, is fundamentally broken when it comes to generalizing to new things. The future, it seems, is all about adaptation.
So, with these brand new techniques in the mix, the competition ended up producing some absolutely incredible results. We're talking about a giant leap forward that happened in just a few short months.
Which brings us to the big one, right? After 4 years of going basically nowhere,
Did this competition, did these new ideas actually make a real difference?
Yes. Yes, it did. The new state-of-the-art high score jumped from 34% all the way to 55.5%. That is not a small step, that is a massive leap that just blew past years and years of painfully slow progress. A team called Minds AI hit this score, proving these new methods were absolutely the real deal.
And because of that amazing open source rule, the official winners, a team called the Architects, they published their entire method for hitting an incredible 53.5%. This is huge. It means a solution that's light years ahead of anything from last year is now out there in the wild for anyone to use and build on.
And get this, here is one of the most amazing takeaways from the whole thing. The competition had two separate leaderboards, one with really tight computing limits and another that allowed for 1,000 times more compute. And you know what? The top scores were almost identical. This proved that a clever algorithm, a new idea, was just as powerful, if not more powerful, than just throwing a mountain of supercomputers at the problem.
So, the race for AGI has been completely reignited. This was a monumental breakthrough, for sure. But the quest is far from over. For starters, that $600,000 grand prize is still sitting there, unclaimed. That 85% target is still a long way off. Plus, researchers now know the original 2019 test has some flaws. Some puzzles can be solved with just brute force, and there's a growing risk that teams are just overfitting, building systems that are great at this specific test, but haven't learned a truly general skill.
So to fix that, a new version of the test is coming in 2025. It's called ARC-AGI 2, and it's going to be harder, more reliable, and designed to push research even further to make sure the next breakthrough is the real thing.
We've seen a massive leap forward. We've proven that AI can learn to reason in ways we didn't think were possible just a year ago. But the ultimate puzzle of intelligence itself is still very much unsolved. The race is back on, and the big question now is, what new idea, what next spark of genius is going to be the final key?